जान से प्यार है, हमें प्यार है पाकिस्तान से, दिल जान से हमें प्यार है।
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to today's special transmission on Pakistan's Defense Day. Pakistan is a resilient nation that has been fighting enemy from within and enemy on the borders as well. Pakistan is a resilient nation that has been fighting extremism and terrorism successfully. Pakistan has launched many successful military operations inside Pakistan, let it be Swat, let it be South Waziristan, North Waziristan, Punjab for that matter, Karachi, Balochistan, anywhere where the terrorists were supported by the enemies of Pakistan, Pakistan has successfully fought its enemies, and Pakistan is still fighting all those elements which are trying to sabotage peace and stability inside Pakistan. But not just Pakistan Army, Pakistan Air Force, Pakistan Navy are protecting Pakistan from all sides. Pakistan Navy has been fighting and protecting Pakistan as always, and they have done their job in an excellent way. We will be discussing about today our martyrs. We will be paying tribute to our martyrs, all those people who stand for peace and stability and who are fighting our enemies on the borders and also anywhere in Pakistan, wherever people feel threatened by the terrorists and by the enemies of Pakistan. This day is a day when we pay our tribute to the martyrs of Pakistan. We pay our tribute to the military, to the paramilitary forces, and not just military, I would say, not just the military forces, but also the paramilitary forces, police for that matter, and many other people, the innocent Pakistanis who lost their lives in this war against terrorism. And generally, I'm talking about the idea of defense, about extremism and terrorism. We have our enemies on the eastern border, and we also have our enemies on the western border as well. Today, we'll talk about martyrs, but at the same time, the young people, our officers, the brilliant officers who are serving Pakistan in different armed forces, in Navy, in Pakistan Air Force, in Pakistan Army. We'll be talking to them and we'll ask them about their passion to serve Pakistan in the armed forces and how do they feel while they serve Pakistan on the borders, in the sea, otherwise when they are meeting people, when they are working for the people, about the welfare activities of the armed forces. We'll be talking about all this with our special guest today in the studios. Our first guest is Captain Hamid Sajjad from Pakistan Navy. Welcome to the show, Captain Hamid. We have Lieutenant Commander Sundar Janzeb, Surgeon Lieutenant Commander Sundar Janzeb. She is a doctor and a surgeon. Welcome to the show, Lieutenant Commander Sundar Janzeb. Captain Nisar Al-Mas from Pakistan Army. Welcome to the show, Captain Nisar. Captain Nisar has also been serving in South Waziristan as well from 2013 and 14. Welcome to the show, all of you. Since we are discussing today Pakistan's defense, and this is also a tribute to our martyrs, to the people who are serving Pakistan in the armed forces. Captain Hamid, starting with you, the passion to join armed forces, the passion to join Pakistan Navy, tell us about that. You are a captain, a senior personnel, a senior officer in Pakistan Navy. Your journey in Pakistan Navy, your experiences, and how do you see Pakistan Navy at the moment?
Okay, that's a long question because the journey is long. I joined back in 1992, and at that time there was all over in Pakistan the passion for joining forces was very high at that time. It is still, but at that time it was even higher than this. So there was urge to join the armed forces. And I joined Pakistan Navy because my father was also in the Navy, so I had a background to it. So I joined Pakistan Navy. And the journey since then has been tough, but extremely adventurous and rewarding, I must say. Because throughout the time, I've been through challenges. I've faced situations where, a lot of challenges are there. But at the same time, these challenges make you strong, and they give you an incentive and motivation to work further and work with more motivation and zeal. So I joined Navy back in '92, and it has been a long journey.
And these from '92 to 2018, Pakistan Navy as a force, you must have seen it evolving, getting stronger day by day. The present moment of Pakistan Navy, how do you see it? Because we also see a lot of challenges internationally as well. Pakistan Navy is there to protect Pakistan in the sea. Tell us about that.
Okay. Yes, you're right. We have grown from 92, at least that I can say. But even if you go beyond, because today is 6 September and we are talking about 1965 as well. So if you compare the Navy of 1965 and then 1992, my time when I joined, and the Navy of today, there's a huge difference. The technologies have changed, the roles have changed, the environment has changed. For example, in 1965, we did not have the challenges of the security challenges like terrorism or extremism, but over a period of time, we have been into a situation where we are facing a lot of challenges, and the line between recognizing your enemy has blurred. So the enemy is not as conspicuous as it was in the past days.
So the war has become unconventional.
It has become unconventional, but at the same time, there's conventional element, there is sub-conventional element, and there's non-conventional element to the warfare. So it has evolved, and with the evolving environment, Pakistan Navy has adapted itself with the available technologies, with the modern technologies, and Alhamdulillah, today we stand as a four-dimensional force, capable to operate in all the domains and capable to defend the motherland to the expectations of our nation.
Right. Lieutenant Commander Sundar is talking about women in armed forces. Generally, first of all, as a soldier, I would say, an official from armed forces, your passion about Pakistan Navy, how did you choose Pakistan Navy, and over the years, your journey as a woman in Pakistan Navy, as an officer as well, primarily.
Thank you. My father, he was serving in Pakistan Air Force. I saw him wearing uniform. That was appealing to me, and it was my passion to join armed forces. And after completing my MBBS, I joined Navy. And I think after becoming doctor, it's like I can serve my nation in a very better way.
And you have been obviously, since you are serving in Pakistan Navy, you have a lot of postings. The officers go on postings to different areas, all over Pakistan for that matter. Serving Pakistan Navy in different areas, perhaps going to the remote areas as well, as a doctor, checking people, meeting them every day. This whole experience of traveling and serving Pakistan Navy, tell us about that.
I've been serving in Navy for last 11 years. And before PNS Hafiz, I was posted in Dockyard. I think you have heard about Dockyard. It's in Karachi. It's the biggest unit of Pakistan Navy. And at Dockyard, I have served for about 7 years. And from that, we visited different places, different small places. We placed camps like blood donation camps, etc. And we have another hospital, PNS Darmanja, in coastal area, Urmara. There, it's a 100-bedded hospital. There we serve people from, all people from Urmara, like civilians and including naval personnel.
Right.
And it's it's a great setup in Urmara. Again, we have 2 hospitals in Karachi, PNS Shifa, which is 700-bedded hospital. And it's providing all facilities, including cardiac facilities, like it's a well-equipped hospital. Again, PNS Rahat, it's also in Karachi. It's 200-bed hospital. It's also providing medical facilities in Karachi.
Right.
And in Islamabad, we have PNS Hafiz.
You mentioned Urmara, this place. Certainly, you meet people every day. The people of Pakistan, Pakistanis are very much emotionally attached to armed forces. They respect their armed forces, Pakistan Air Force, Pakistan Navy, Pakistan Army. When you meet them every day, you just mentioned the civilians, when they come to the hospital, they see that they have welcoming people, doctors like you, brilliant doctors like you, who are there to welcome them, who are there to help them out. How do you feel interacting and connecting with the people, with women for that matter, and children?
I really feel proud because serving the nation, it gives us feeling that we feel really proud.
Certainly, this is a very strong feeling. Captain Nisa from Pakistan Army. Nisa, before the show, we were talking about Pakistan Army. You have been serving in Pakistan Army. You still are serving in Pakistan Army. You have been serving in South Waziristan as well. Uh, Extremism and terrorism that we were discussing with Captain Hamid. This is certainly a threat to Pakistan. You have seen this whole war very closely, serving in South Waziristan. Over the years, the morale of Pakistan Army and the morale, I would say, of a Pakistani, a common man in Pakistan, has gone up. We have successfully fought extremism and terrorism. At the moment, what is the morale of the officers of Pakistan Army, you yourself, your friends, your colleagues?
First of all, I would like to thank you for inviting me and giving me chance to say a lot many things which we all soldiers have been thinking in ourselves on everyday basis. Let me tell you that I was not very much aware of the value of this uniform, the value of the life of a soldier before joining army. The moment I put on this uniform, I got to know about the real values of life, the real values of emotions, and the real values of sacrifice. I have been serving in South Waziristan Agency from 2013 to 2015. You got to know the real values of life over there. The environment you get over there is totally different that we are living here in peace. The morale of this armed forces are very high, and it is just not because of the military life or Pakistan Army. The major role in boosting up morale of our lives is the nation of Pakistan. When you got to know that every person belongs to Pakistan is supporting you like a family, you get a pride in yourself, you get a motivation in yourself to do something. And whenever a soldier, I'm not talking about myself only, whenever a soldier put on uniform, he feels that he is responsible of the complete nation. And this is just because of the support and motivation of the complete nation. And about the morale you were talking about, let me tell you, the morale of Pakistan Army and the nation is very high, and it is unbeatable, and which was very clear in the past wars as well, and in the ongoing scenario as well.
Right. Certainly, this morale of Pakistan Armed Forces, not just Army, but Air Force and Navy as well, Captain Hamid, extremism and terrorism that we were talking about. Pakistan Navy has also been fighting this extremism and terrorism from all sides. It has been a very, I would say, vigilant force, protecting our borders, protecting South primarily, and all these areas. How do you see this whole thing, this whole challenge, and how is Pakistan Navy looking at this challenge of external challenges and internal challenges?
Okay, yes, you're right. You know, there are two challenges, external and internal. On the internal front, you know, extremism and terrorism are biggest challenges, and Pakistan Navy, on its part, is assisting the other armed forces and its own role in countering terrorism. But our main job is to protect the seas. So we have to protect the seas from the menace of terrorism, terrorism, piracy, and other non-traditional threats, subconventional threats which are there out at sea. So Pakistan Navy since 2004 has been operating with coalitions to safeguard the maritime zones of Pakistan, and even beyond the maritime zones of Pakistan out into the Red Sea and important choke points like Bab el-Mandab and Suez, and the Hormuz, Strait of Hormuz. So as part of coalition, we have contributed a lot, and very recently, a few months back, Pakistan Navy has started its own regional maritime security patrol. So the idea is that these are our waters, and as a regional country which has a lot of capability to secure the seas, we have to contribute our part into securing the seas. So we have taken the lead in this, and now we are doing we are conducting maritime security operations in the Arabian Sea, in the Indian Ocean, and we are also helping other regional countries in capacity building of those nations to help to come together and make the seas more secure, to have conducive and safe environment for the sea trade to flourish.
Comparing the professionalism of Pakistan Navy with other navies in the world, where do we place Pakistan Navy? Because obviously you interact with many other officers from different countries, you travel. Professionalism in Pakistan Navy, and also earlier you mentioned about the technology. Obviously that is very important for all the armed forces, having better ships, having better equipment. In all these areas, where do we stand in Pakistan Navy stands?
Okay, I'll start with the professionalism. I've had an opportunity to interact and work with other navies of the world, some of the modern navies in the world. And it is not that I am from the Pakistan Navy and I'm saying this. This is the acknowledgement by other navies, the other naval officers whom I interacted. They place Pakistan naval officers and Pakistan naval personnel as on top of the professional level. This is the reason most of the nations are actually willing to work with us. They would come to Pakistan, have exercises with us. I told you we were part of the coalition, so we were the major contributor in the coalition. Why? Because we have the professional acumen and we know this area well. So we had this, this professionalism which raised us to the level that the most modern navies of the world are, even now they are willing to work with us, they are willing to do exercises with us. In terms of technology, we have always endeavored to get the high end of the technology in terms of our ships, submarines, aircraft, and on land where our SSG and Marines operate. So whatever the best technology is available, we try to acquire that, but obviously it is, technology comes with a price. So we have to be aware of the, financial constraints, but within those financial constraints, whatever is the best technology, alhamdulillah, we have it. And the kind of threat that we are facing right now, we have those technologies and capabilities that, alhamdulillah, we can thwart all those challenges and threats.
And as they say, the real power is that how do you use your available resources. And I think the Pakistan Navy is an excellent example of that, they're brilliantly using the available resources and protecting Pakistan. Lieutenant Commander Sundas, talking about women in armed forces specifically, I'm sure other women, girls for that matter, young girls, they see you as an inspiration in Pakistan Navy. Tell us about that. When you meet, let's say, younger people, students from, let's say, from colleges and universities, do they ask you about women in armed forces and especially women in Pakistan Navy?
Yeah, they give us a regard, and like it's I really feel happy when they regard us, and they kept on asking questions that what's your qualification and how did you join Navy, like tell us the procedure, how can we apply, and so on and so on. Like and I have a very special message for them that please, especially for the youth, as they are the future of Pakistan, okay, please do join armed forces, and it's a platform that where you can serve the nation in a very better way.
Certainly, and especially in our society, I think people want to join a couple of, I would say, professions. Doctor,
Yes,
people from armed forces,
exactly.
especially, and engineers, now journalists and anchors as well. But you are, I would say, a double inspiration, a doctor and a Navy officer. So is that something special for a lot of young people, that you are a doctor, first of all, a very tough thing to do, by the way,
Yeah,
and
truly.
then a Navy officer? What about that? Do they ask you that you are a doctor and a Navy officer?
Yeah, people do ask about this, and I have already told you that I really feel proud at that time, and yeah.
That's certainly right. Captain Nisar, talking about Pakistan Army, we have seen that Pakistan Army, because Pakistan Army has been very active in the last couple of years, as I think in the last 70 years rather, the way Pakistan Army has been fighting enemies on the eastern front, on the eastern borders, on the western borders as well. Then there were these terrorist organizations operating inside Pakistan. The way we launched the SWAT operation, a very difficult, tough operation, but launched successfully, and the area is much peaceful now. This morale of fighting the enemy, let's say, of going to different areas in remote areas of South Waziristan, North Waziristan, knowing the people over there, interacting with the people, connecting with the people, understanding the area. Tell us about that. Tell us about your experiences when you have been serving in Pakistan Army.
Pakistan Army is facing enemies in different fronts, in different scenarios and different situations. In fact, Pakistan Army is in ongoing war situation every time. Every soldier of Pakistan is in the condition of war. He keeps in mind that I'm in condition of war and I'm ready for everything. You talk about any area, you talk about any scenario, you talk about any war, each and every individual who belongs to Pakistan Army is working very well, because the command and control of Pakistan Army, Navy and Air Force are matchless. Everybody has a very clear idea about his own responsibility, and this is the main thing in any armed forces, that each and every individual should be very clear about the task assigned to him. We are facing many difficulties because international propagandas and the funded TTPs and all that stuff in army are working on different fronts. We face problems when we go in the areas like South Waziristan Agency and North Waziristan agencies, where people talk about that we are fighting with your own people. It's a very common sentence I used to listen whenever I'm on leave. I go to my hometown and people ask me that why you guys are fighting against your own people. I used to say that you have not been to that area. I have been to that area. I have spent almost 2 years in Operation Al Mizan in South Waziristan Agency. I have a very clear idea that what's going on in Pakistan. They are not our people. They are totally paid. They are very much projected against Pakistan nation. If somebody is a Muslim and is Pakistani, will never want to kill the children and the women of Pakistan nation. So we are facing the problems, but we are all ready and we are all motivated just because of the nation of Pakistan.
Certainly, I think this is very important to let the people know, because you talked about propaganda. There's international propaganda as well against Pakistan primarily, and not just Pakistan Army, but Pakistan itself. And talking about fighting extremism and terrorism, this is the nexus of crime and of terrorism. And you rightly said that these people, most of them who have been fighting against the Pakistani state, who have been targeting innocent children and women inside Pakistan, talking about Army Public School attack, talking about the naval base attack in Karachi for that matter, attacks on Sufi shrines, markets. And these people have been fighting, these terrorists, I would say, Captain Hamid. And I won't even call them terrorists. These cowards have been targeting the innocent children and women inside Pakistan, innocent people. But Pakistan is a resilient nation. And the way I think Pakistan has fought this kind of extremism and terrorism is unprecedented. We don't see this kind of example anywhere, rather, not in the region, not even in the world.
Absolutely.
What do you think about this?
Absolutely.
This resilience and this resolve to fight the enemy.
Absolutely. Totally agree with you. And this is not only the armed forces, actually this is the resilience of the nation. Our nation, alhamdulillah, is so resilient that we have been through so much of tough times, and we have given so many sacrifices that, you know, if a third person would be looking at this in an analytical way, probably he or she would say that, you know, on the way you might lose your motivation, you might lose your focus, but over a period of, you know, decades, we have been fighting this menace, and alhamdulillah, we have almost won this war. But still there's a lot to be done at the national level, at the public level, and also, you know, the armed forces are one part of the nation.
Right.
We are doing our part. We are playing we are doing our part of the hardcore, you know, actions. But whatever is behind that is also be done. So I think, you know, as a nation, we have shown that resilience to fight this menace of terrorism, and that is the reason that we have been successful. And there's no precedent of such such victory against an enemy which has no face. So Pakistan has done it.
Right. Certainly, we'll continue our discussion on this point, that Pakistan is a resilient nation, and Pakistan, the people of Pakistan, the armed forces have successfully fought the enemy, the conventional enemy, but at the same time, Pakistani people, the Pakistani armed forces have also fought the extremists and the terrorists as well. Today is also the day when we pay tribute to our martyrs, people who gave up their lives to protect you, to protect me, to protect our children, our future. We'll be paying tribute to them as well after this break. Stay with us.
हमें प्यार है पाकिस्तान से, दिल जान से प्यार है, हमें प्यार है पाकिस्तान से, दिल जान से हमें प्यार है, हमें प्यार है पाकिस्तान से, दिल जान से प्यार है, हमें प्यार है पाकिस्तान। वफा की तस्वीरों, तुम्हें यादों की हवाएं
सलाम कहती है, तेरा है हक की शहीदों।
लगाने आग जो आए थे आशियाने को, वो शोले अपने लहू से बुझा दिए तुम। हमें प्यार है पाकिस्तान से, दिल जान से प्यार है, हमें प्यार है पाकिस्तान से, दिल जान से हमें
Welcome back. We are paying tribute to our martyrs, to our armed forces on this day, the Defense Day of Pakistan. Lieutenant Commander Sundas talking about the armed forces, the officers, and also the emotional attachment that we all have with our families. Being away from family, that isn't easy at all. And also moving with the family too is, I would say, not just a test for yourself, but also for the family. How do you see, postings and then raising up the children and doing all that?
Although it's very tough, it's very difficult, but it's manageable, alhamdulillah. My husband, he's also in Navy, and alhamdulillah, we both are serving at the same station. We have 2 kids, and alhamdulillah, all is manageable so far.
Right. So you and your husband, you both are
Serving in Navy.
officers. That too is I would say, a big inspiration for a lot of people. Both officers, how do you manage them? Because this is obviously a tough thing to do, serving Pakistan, serving the people. This inspires you both as well, and obviously your family.
It's like when I'm away, my husband is on duty with kids, and when he is in office, I am busy with kids.
That is
It's
very-
like it's manageable, but alhamdulillah.
Certainly, this is understandable, and I think this is the resolve, and I think this is the passion that
Exactly.
our officers have to serve Pakistan, to serve Pakistani nation, the armed forces. That we are there to protect the nation.
Yeah,
to
because
protect
being
the
doctor,
people of
it's a
Pakistan.
24 hours job. Like we
Certainly,
are on call for
certainly.
24 hours. So I tell
Obviously,
him that's
and
management.
working 24 hours, and you are on your toes all the time.
Exactly.
There is no off-duty time, basically.
Absolutely.
You are there to protect your country. Captain Nisar, all this thing, moving to different areas, having different experiences, and also I would say the postings that you get in Pakistan Army gives you a very, I would say, comprehensive view of the Pakistani society. You don't just get posted in big cities, but you also serve in the remote areas of Pakistan, on the borders, in difficult terrains, in different weathers for that matter. This view that you get of the Pakistani society, of the Pakistani people, and connecting with the people at the grassroots level. Tell us about that.
You are very right. When we get the postings of different areas, we get a very clear idea about the different people belongs to Pakistan. If I talk about myself, I've been posted to South Waziristan, starting from Dera Ismail Khan, Tank, Jandola, Sararoga, all that belt, and then I went to Quetta. Then I was posted to Lahore, and then last time I was posted to Sialkot. Now I'm in Rawalpindi. By serving in these all areas, you get a very broad exposure, because you got to talk with different people, you got to interact with very different people of different families and different natures. So you have a very broad exposure by roaming around all over Pakistan, and you start enjoying this thing after a particular time period.
And also knowing about the difficulties of the border terrain, talking about Waziristan and South Waziristan especially, 2013 and 15 were very crucial years, not just for Pakistan Army, but for the Pakistani nation for that matter. Because in these years we were fighting a very, I think, important war against TTP for that matter, and all these terrorist organizations who had their sleeper cells as well in these areas, fighting the enemy, seeing, let's say, these dangers, closely. Tell us about that feeling.
Well, when you are putting on uniform, I talked about it earlier as well. When you are in uniform, then there is no fear. Let me tell you one thing very clearly. When you put on your uniform, then you are no more in fear of anything. When I was posted in South Waziristan Agency, in the very start, because I was passed out from PMA, I directly joined my unit in South Waziristan Agency, which was located at Dera Ismail Khan at that time. Yes, I was a bit confused before joining my unit that what would be the scenario over there, what would be the conditions I would be going through. But with the passage of time, I was used to, and I was quite normal as other soldiers were, because we are professionally fighting very well, because we are abiding by the rules, we are following the SOPs made by the army commanders. So by going with the SOPs, so it is very normal to tackle every type of situation.
And these difficult postings that you get, Captain Hamid, obviously not all postings are that easy and comfortable. You have difficult postings, you are away from your family, you're serving in the seas, and I'm sure that is not an easy task at all. Serving over there, what do you think when you're in the seas, in the deep seas for that matter, and you're traveling and on your voyage, thinking about Pakistan, thinking about your people, thinking about your family, that whole idea? What is that idea? What is that feeling?
Okay, the main idea is, it's the motivation to serve your nation and to defend the sea frontiers of Pakistan. So that is the main motivation behind it. But yes, you're right. The people in armed forces are also human beings. They have families. They have emotions. But when you are out at sea and operating, even when you are transiting from one place to another, so life is so busy that the job keeps you so much busy that there's hardly any time to think about anything else than whatever your mission is assigned. So most of the time you are attached to the accomplishment of the mission that has been assigned to you, and there's hardly any time to think about those emotions and that. But yes, one cannot completely divorce himself from the emotions, and this is a sacrifice that the armed forces they make, and not only the people who are in uniform, but actually their families give more sacrifice. I was reading somewhere in the on the social media this morning. It is easier to be hit by a bullet than to carry a coffin of your son and put him into grave. So it is equally or even more tough for the families to bear with the sacrifices that their sons, husbands, their wives, for that matter, have to do, and they are equally part of those sacrifices, if not more.
Lieutenant Commander Sundas, talking about this whole idea of serving Pakistan, serving the Pakistani nation. As an officer, your experience in Pakistan Navy, would you suggest other girls, other women to join Pakistan Navy and serve Pakistan Navy? Looking at your experiences, how do you see that, and what would be your message to the young people listening to you?
Sure. It's my message to the youth that please join Pakistan Armed Forces. It's a best platform to serve your nation. By joining Armed Forces, Air Force, Navy, Army, you can serve your nation in the best possible way.
You said that your father was in Air Force.
Yes.
Did that inspire you
Yeah.
to join Pakistan Navy, since your father was in Air Force, watching him in uniform and also watching him serving the nation?
My father, he is my mentor. Yeah. I joined Pakistan Navy just because of him. Because daily I saw him wearing uniform, and that appealed me a lot. And another thing is passion. I had passion to join Pakistan Armed Forces and serve my country.
Captain Nisar, talking about joining the armed forces, Army certainly is all the armed forces, I would say. People have association, people have emotional attachment with the armed forces. There are a lot of people in Pakistan who want to join the armed forces of Pakistan, especially Pakistan Army. Joining Pakistan Army, what would be your message, let's say, to the young people? Because it's not just having comfortable postings.
Yes.
It's also about serving the nation. And also, when you were talking about South Waziristan and when you got the, let's say, orders of your posting that you would be posted in South Waziristan, the reaction of your family, what was that? And I think I'm sure that is not easy, even for the family, that young son, brother would be going to serve in this difficult area. So all these challenges and comforts, what would be your message to the young people?
Well, I would like to deliver a message to young people of Pakistan that armed forces is a very vital part of the Pakistani nation and Pakistan as a whole. And I think the tendency of applying for armed forces is already very high. People are dying to join armed forces. What I see in my area, what I see in all over the Pakistan, people are very enthusiastic to join armed forces, and that is very good thing in my point of view. And if we talk about the difficulties faced by our families, that is very obvious. Obviously, if a mother thinks that she's going to see her son after a month, so it is very difficult for every month. It's every mother. It's very obvious. For my mother, she used to say that I feel like I have got my son married to a very cruel in-laws, because I don't see my son very frequently. But with the passage of time, she is very satisfied with my job. She is very satisfied because priority changes. When I joined Pakistan Army, my mother has admitted this thing that I have devoted my son for the nation. And whenever I go to home, I feel happy. But whenever I'm on duty, I feel like I'm in home, because I have admitted this fact that this complete motherland is my home now. So it is not very difficult for me.
Well, rightly said, aptly said, that the whole of Pakistan, the Pakistani nation is a family, and we are there to protect our family. Captain Hamid, this very idea of sacrifices and selflessness, because when you are in armed forces, it's not just about having a job, it's about sacrifice. You don't know about your future, you don't know about your life for that matter. Working in difficult situations, most difficult situations for that matter, I would say. This requires selflessness and the very, I would say, the feeling of sacrifice, sacrificing yourself, and as you were saying earlier, not yourself, but your family is also sacrificing. This whole thing, how do you think, How do you see it?
I see it from a perspective of the defense of motherland being a sacred task. So when we put on the uniform, we take oath to do this sacred job, and by doing so, there is a part in our society and in our country, alhamdulillah, because most of us are Muslims, more than 90% of the population. So the motivation from the religion is also there when you are serving the nation. So it is not only a job, it is beyond job. It is protecting the motherland, it is undertaking that sacred job, it is fulfilling your religious obligation as well. So all these factors contribute towards the motivation of a person who wears uniform.
And this certainly requires a lot of commitment, certainly, with the nation and with the armed forces. Thank you so much, all of you. Captain Hamid, pleasure having you on the show. Pleasure having you on the program. Lieutenant Commander Sundas, thank you for your time. Pleasure having you on the show. And I think you all are a big inspiration for our people. Captain Nisar, pleasure having you on the show. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for your time. We'll continue our discussion and our special transmission on Defence Day. We'll be paying tribute to our martyrs, but at the same time, we'll also be discussing about the challenges that we are facing, the challenges that Pakistani nation is facing. And Pakistani nation, the armed forces have successfully fought the challenges that are there, external and internal. We'll continue our discussion after this break. Stay with us.
हमें प्यार है पाकिस्तान से, दिल जान से प्यार है, हमें प्यार